I wanted to take you through this wonderful article, Depression is a Disease of Civilization, published on the website www.filmsforaction.org on March 9th, 2016. The article was written by Sarah Burrows, referring to the speech given by Dr. Stephen Ilardi at TEDx Talks. Dr. Stephen Ilardi is a professor of clinical psychology and the author of The Depression Cure. I'm sharing the link below so you can read it, and you can find the video on the same article. The video got 2.4 million views on YouTube. Dr. Ilardi's speech was not like what we heard all the time about depression. Instead of solely focusing on a chemical imbalance requiring medication, Dr. Ilardi presented depression as a systemic issue rooted in modern living. He explains his theory that the modern Western lifestyle is a key driver of the global depression epidemic. He further explains modern life is poorly adapted to our physiology. It is sedentary, socially isolated, sleep-deprived, and has a diet of fast food. The resulting chronic stress on the brain is toxic, fueling the epidemic of depression.
I believe depression is one of the most tragically misunderstood words in the entire English language. And here's the problem. Depression has two radically different meanings depending on the context. So in everyday conversation, when people say they're depressed, they use the word depression as a synonym for sadness. It's the normal human reaction to the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. In that sense, all of us know the pain of depression.
With colonialism, European education was implemented in 15th to 19th century in Africa and in 16th to 20th century in Asia. Even in America, Australia and South America, Native people were forced to have missionary education led by the Europeans. Pre-colonial economies, often self-sufficient and focused on local trade, were forcibly integrated into a global capitalist system. Colonies became suppliers of raw materials for European industries and captive markets for their finished goods. Indigenous handicraft and textile industries in Asia and Africa were systematically dismantled to eliminate competition with machine-made European products. Colonial policies often forced farmers to switch from producing food for local consumption to growing cash crops for export. Indigenous customs, languages, and belief systems were devalued and suppressed. Christian missionaries worked to replace traditional religions with Western Christianity, which led to a loss of identity for many. Colonial rule created new, often racialized, social hierarchies. A new class of Western-educated local elites emerged, creating a divide between them and the larger, non-Westernized population. Traditional social structures and governance systems were undermined or replaced. In parts of Africa, for example, Europeans created the notion of tribes to simplify and control local populations, which later contributed to ethnic divisions and conflict. Except a very few countries like Bhutan and Cuba, right now unchangeably. Many countries are still following the Western education system, followed by the capitalist socio-economic lifestyle. After all, this is all about humans. What about animals? Animals are facing the worst side of this misery. Animals go through depression too, sometimes more than humans, because unlike humans, they have these communicating boundaries due to incapability and less capacity of human languages to understand the animal intelligence. We can see depression in pets and captive animals like zoo animals, farm animals, animals in medical research labs, and animals used for other entertainment purposes, including religious purposes. We kill over 80 billion land animals for food worldwide each year, and the trauma and mental distress farm animals, research animals, and other captive animals go through is incomparable. While people in countries of Asia, Africa, and South America are still forced by the local and international authorities to have Western lifestyle-driven education system, in Europe, the USA and Australia homeschooled children percentage is rapidly getting increased due to parents who don't want to continue with this economy-based education. System. Reports from 2024 and early 2025 estimate the number of homeschooled children in the U.S. to be between 3.7 and 4.6 million. An estimated 62,000 children were homeschooled in France as of 2024. An estimated 45,000 Australian students were homeschooled in 2024.
If you are suffering from depression, anxiety, or any other mental situation, or if your child is having autism, ADHD, or any other mental condition, please stay connected, stay conscious. Because we do not suffer as individuals, or it is not related to any isolated situation. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, who was a philosopher and paleontologist, once said, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience, we are spiritual beings having a human experience." Erwin Schrödinger once said, "The total number of minds in the universe is one." In fact, consciousness is a singularity phasing within all beings. And great Indian philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti said, "Your consciousness is not yours, your consciousness is the consciousness of all humanity."